Team, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining the demo session for Azure Data Engineering. So, professional training from Academy of Data and Talent Tech Solutions. So, we call Academy of Data in Bangalore, and we're called as Talent Tech Solutions in Hyderabad. So, we do have online and offline centers in the respective cities, and people who wanted to come for an online or offline, just let us know whatever your requirement is on the training model, what you're looking for, we can help you out. And also, we're also part of the Databricks University Alliance program as well. So, which is a recent title which we got it as well. So, because we're able to certify a lot of engineers on Databricks and Azure side. So, we got this tag in the recent one. And let me actually get you into some details from here. Before we take it anything forward, I wanted to introduce myself here. My name is Kumar, and I'm a Databricks evangelist. So I was working on Databricks for the past 5 years. So this is an heavy experience on Databricks in general, because I started my data projects in way back in 2011, and I worked on Azure and Databricks, and especially on the data engineering area. And I'm also working on data governance areas as well on the consulting sphere. And again, I believe in strong leadership, and I want to help students to excel in their life and careers, and want to help in their continuous learning. So I'm the trainer for this course. I'm the main trainer for this course with a skill set on Azure, SQL, Python, and Databricks. And I'll be taking care of the complete training. And we also have Venkat. Venkat sir is also another trainer who is also a solution architect. He's one of the best in the country. If you can actually ask me about certain things on Azure Data Factory and talk about any enterprise architect solution, and he has successfully led some international project with respect to eBay on data engineering solutions. And he's certified on cloud and data engineering technologies and on the Azure Data Framework. So in total, we have trained around 800 data engineers till date in the last 2.5 years, either corporate or even the external trainings as well. So this is all about your trainers who are actually going to be part of this training program. So the average experience was at 12.5 years of experience, who is helping you out. Now, before we actually take up this course, I wanted to make sure that what we wanted to help you on this course. So, we want to make sure that we help you on learning the Azure cloud. This is the first thing which we have to start with it, and then we wanted to help you in extracting data from variety of sources and transform data using SQL. This is also something which will also do it, and also load into relational database and data lakes. And we also help you on running your workloads on Azure cloud, and we also help you in learning Python and Spark to run data pipelines in a distributed compute. And we also wanted to help you out on creating notebooks on data pipelines as well. Okay. So this is all what I wanted to do. So we wanted to make sure that you guys actually also work on one new ETL tool, which is called as Azure Data Factory. Okay. So this also can actually help you to deal with the real-time scenarios that can actually happen with the tools. So this coverage is very extensive. So I just wanted to bring to you the technology stack what we're talking. So at a high level, right? So you're going to learn on Azure Cloud, SQL, Python, and then Apache Spark on Databricks and Azure Data Factory. Now, how come these are all relevant to the tech stack? Now, you be a fresher or you be already an expert on ETL tools who are working on on-premise, or you already know very good on SQL, you're coming from a SQL developer background. So data engineering so this tech stack is one of the best that is there in the market right now so far. And many of those older technologies on the ETL side are actually going to migrate into this new tech stack on the cloud. In general, post-COVID, we have seen a lot of changes in the market where there's always a transition from on-premise to a cloud. Now, the question is, what is on-premise? So any machine that is something which you are creating it on in your office space or in your premises is called as an on-premise machine. Now, when you talk about anything on cloud, you don't actually host your machine or you don't buy anything. You actually ask Microsoft kind of companies to host it for you. So they're called as data centers. I'm pretty sure people are listening this word called data centers. In Hyderabad, there is a Microsoft data center which was there, and in Mumbai, you have an AWS data centers. You may be seeing that in news. So, what exactly are they relevant? So, data center itself is a $1 trillion market now, which means that you are going to utilize those data centers to create your machines and do the processing. Now, Azure Cloud is one of the top notch in the entire world, and the growth on Azure Cloud is actually growing phenomenal. So we are going to utilize Azure Cloud for your learning, and Azure Cloud is the one which makes it easy for any person who just comes out of college also wanted to learn, or if you are telling that you are already worked on some older legacy technologies, right, and you want to come into new technology stack. I think Azure is the best choice in general. So I have seen a lot of people who are successful, and you are coming from a non-IT background. Say you have done BTech in civil or other areas. I think Azure Cloud is something which is making it easy because you already have a feel of Microsoft specific stack in general. So generally you use Windows machine, right? So Azure Cloud also gives the same kind of similar kind of interfaces. And again, we actually talk about very detailed from the basic to the advanced level on the Azure Cloud, and we make sure that you complete a certification as part of it as well. I'll discuss on what certification cover in the next slide. But now we'll also go for the base level of SQL, and we also cover into the advanced SQL, and then we cover your Python. So if you're not a programmer, don't worry. If you're not a SQL developer, don't worry. If you don't understand anything, cloud, don't worry. So this is a comprehensive program which covers from the basics to the advanced level. So this is the only program that is there which covers those things. And then again, when you are talking about cloud, SQL, Python, we have a very good materials which can actually help you to also complete your certifications on Azure Cloud. And SQL and Python, all the interview questions are generally covered. And then we choose Databricks, Apache Spark on Databricks. So you already know we are part of their University Alliance program. So why we do that, right? So Apache Spark is the one which is held for big data processing. Now in this world today, right? So we're talking about extraction, transformation, and load. So I'll just give you one small example. I'll take it. I'll not take more time. Sorry, let me get it for you. One minute, guys. So I want to take some example here, especially by using a diagram here as well. So give it 1 minute, please. So if you see here, right, in general, right, so if you talk about any organization, they may have a database, they have data in files, they have data in Salesforce or ERP system. The data can be anywhere. Now, there are times, where you wanted to understand the data, especially we're talking about sales data, you need to get it. So there's always a phase called as extraction, which is what we generally do it. And the technology stack called Databricks, right? So we generally going to help you in getting the data from all these kind of sources, and then you can actually get into a transformation mode. So which means you do have database here, so you can actually extract it. So let me put it this way. So this actually generally helps you if you talk about getting the data, right? So all the data is going to be extracted from all these sources, files. It can be CSV file, it can be any kind of files. The data is going to be huge in general, and all the data is going to be pulled here, and then the data is going to be transformed. What is a transformation, right? Now think of, you're having some information here. One of the thing is it's not standardized data. So if you talk about, we talk about, Telangana, okay? So you have something called, the number that you can actually talk about Telangana is like, so I'm just giving an example. So TG is something, which is you talk about any vehicle, you have something called TG23 and all right. So 16, TG23 2345. So think of this as a number. Now think of a recent case, where you're actually changing this. You wanted to make sure that you want to standardize this number. Telangana does not go for TH. It can be, you can think of where making it like TS. So government has changed, I don't know whether it is TS, but again, you think of this scenario where they wanted to change it. Now you're doing the data transformation for all the sources at a single point of time. You're standardizing it. Okay. So which means actually the accuracy has gone different thanks to the recent government legislation. So the number plates of all the vehicles are changing, and vehicle is only one row, one specific item in a specific table. Now you want to standardize on a larger data set and all, you want to transform it, I think you can do it here. So this TG will be converted to TS as part of it. And then after that, it will go to data warehouse. Now, what is a data warehouse? What is a lake house and all, is something which I'll be covering as part of this course for sure. So this is, we have very limited time to do that. But if you talk about data warehouse, what it is that we're going to store historical information, and that actually provides us insights into uh, the future of the future forecasting. You can actually, so what are the historical data, like, the last, so if you talk about Sensex or BSC Sensex and all, they generally actually try to ask you, so what is the plan of, can I invest on this month on this, what is the prediction? So the prediction can be based on the historical information which a database is built for those kind of things. Now we'll be talking about the basic things of fact dimension table as part of the course. Don't need to worry if you don't understand the data warehouse, I'll take care of it. But a simple example what I want to tell you is the data sets are very huge and it's not very small. You talk about terabytes of data, and now the real problem these days is the data is always increasing, and that problem can be solved as part of as part of this Azure Data Engineering. So, and with Apache Spark on Databricks, so there's a perfect solution which can actually extract the data from anywhere, transform it, and load it to the data warehouse. And from the data warehouse, right? So management actually can find insights and find out the real insights of how the company can perform or how the market conditions are. Okay. Now, Azure Data Factory is another one which is also available here. So this is one thing. Now, what are you doing with Python and Apache Spark? You can also do it with drag and drop techniques, and this is something which is there. So this course will cover all the basics to the advanced level. So if you have a no voice, if you say that there are times where this kind of tools are also being utilized, and you're coming from a tools person, I'm pretty sure ADF is also one of the good choice. And nowadays, any company is actually asking for the entire tech stack, not only some pieces of it. And now the other thing is we were also introducing some generative AI model of it. So this is the first time we are going to introduce it as part of this tech stack as well, as part of Databricks. So there's a new use cases are coming up, and we are also going to help you on creating a model which can actually help us to give the insights when you type in, right? So think of a case of Air India. Air India, the CEO of Air India wanted to find out which are the flights to Frankfurt or Germany which are late. Now he can just type in and he can get the data from your tables. How to get it? So those kind of use cases we are going to work upon it. It's going to be very interesting and very easy to do it, thanks to the power of all the machine learning things that are happening in the market so far. Okay, now let me talk about a role as data engineer. So before talking about anything about machine learning and all, you just have to come back on what exactly a data engineer does. So you're going to design, build, and maintain data lakes and data warehouse. I gave a simple example with a simple diagram of how the data can be actually coming from different sources, because every company, sales team will be working on Salesforce. Okay, now you're talking about about e-commerce sites. E-commerce sites are going to you're selling something, right? You'll be utilizing an Oracle database. So data can be anywhere. Now you are the person who has to extract it, process, transform it, and then store the data, in a meaningful way. And I also said, right, one of the examples of Air India, right? So CEO of Air India wanted to know which are the flights that are delayed. He just has to, type in and he can get it. So which means the data that is being provided for a machine learning user or a reporting purpose is something which is created by the data engineer. So data engineer is required everywhere. Now, you wanted to run the workloads on the clouds. There are three major clouds, which are Azure, AWS, and GCP. So data engineer is the one who actually does this job for you. And another one is you wanted to collaborate with business analysts and machine learning stakeholder to design data architecture. You are the main person who understand the data, where it is coming in the organization, and what are the insights you are to get it as part of it, and how you can actually provide those kind of details to other positions in an organization called business analyst and machine learning stakeholders. And due to rapid growth of the data, so as I said, right, so the data growth is very high. So today, right, so as we are talking, so if you're going from one place to another part of the city, you're actually using a Google Maps. So you're generating data per second. So the moment you're going somewhere, right, it is actually capturing it. So believe me, there are millions of population in a city like Bangalore or Hyderabad, right? So you generally have to capture each person's information, which means you have to gather information from each of the individual. You are using an app, you're developing an app, so your company is building an app. So which means you are creating data, okay, always. So you yourself are actually creating data, consistently and all. So which means you have to make sure that the data engineer is available for any of the companies that are there and their market. It's also very increasingly important that you always have a data engineer in the company. And now, what is the fastest growing role, IT roles in the market? So believe me, people talk about other things of data science, backend developers and all. To be frank, it is data engineer which is actually having a 50% growth. So people who really wanted to get into IT role, I really recommend data engineer rather than a data scientist. So I know, again, I'm also a certified data scientist, but I truly feel that data engineering is the first step that you have to take to enter into IT at this point of when the pace of the data is growing. All right. Now, the median salary of a data engineer is something which I wanted to write it here. So this is a median, not the highest salary. So in general, you can see it's always above the industry level at above more than 5 lakhs per annum for at least for a junior engineer and all. So I'm talking about median. Again, 3 to 6 very high level, and 6 to 9. You can see the graph. Salary in lakhs of Indian rupees is what I was actually showing. So these are something 1 year old. Maybe they also have some updates as well. So especially we have seen the increase in the salaries in this range of 6 to 9 and 9 to 12. So these people are actually getting more pay than what we have seen in the last 1 to 2 years. And we have seen, sky is the limit for the salaries. It's all about, how you actually have to go for negotiation if you want to talk about salary. That's a different discussion. But again, it's all about the skill, what you're going to create. So the kind of skill set, which you actually learn will actually get you to this kind of salaries. Okay. All right. So before I take it forward to the demo, I also wanted to make sure that we wanted to add certain things here. So who are the partnering organization for our placements? So Test Perform, and Alfred is from Hyderabad and Karini from Chennai and Lumen Data and Vehicle Technologies also from Bangalore. So these are the companies which takes. So Lumen Data especially takes freshers from us. So many people were placed there. Uh, so just why we are adding it is there's always a need for data engineers. So the advantage of taking the course for us is you are already industry ready, and these organizations don't need to train. And so that's the reason these are the partnering organization for us in the placement. If they have any data engineer role, they generally take from us directly. They don't actually go for the open market because these are all data companies in general, or Test Performance is a company which is actually doing testing projects and performance specific projects on data. And Kanini is the one which is a staffing partner for throughout the country and especially in the European region as well. And Alfred Analytics is in Hyderabad, so which also actually do consulting services on data as well. And Lumen Data is one of the top-notch company in the US, and we have already have some A students who are already working with Lumen Data from our organization. And Vehicle Technology is actually the parent company for Academy of Data, so with their own consulting wing. So there are a lot of opportunities that for the people who wanted to actually grow. And one advantage is people who are really doing well. So they generally get into regional technologies based on the projects that they have. And at the same time, so we're also offering training plus internship, especially for freshers, right? So we give training and the internship opportunities are coming from the regional technologies. All right. So one important thing which I want to talk before I start the demo. So the one is, so what are the certifications that are covered as part of the course? So since we're talking about a course which actually gives you the perfect set of it's a comprehensive training, right? And it's a perfect set of data specific and cloud specific certification what we are providing, and also it's a job oriented courses. So there are 4 certifications which generally covers. One is Azure Fundamentals, Lakehouse Fundamentals, the Lakehouse Data Engineer Associate, and Spark Developer Associate. So our coverage of this course is going to help you in getting 4 industry-specific certifications. And again, we actually help people, who have this kind of certification to get placed. So this is something which I really, encourage people to do it. Now, Azure Fundamentals and Lakehouse Fundamentals is a free of cost, which we generally help you. Azure Fundamentals is also one of the specific courses which actually helps you to understand infrastructure really well. So we also help you into this certification. And the third one, which is most sought after certification in the market right now, is Data Engineer Associate by Databricks. You have this, believe me, you'll get a job for sure. I'm 100% confident. So whoever is the people who are actually having this specific certification tag, they definitely the learning curve is very high, and you get it. Your market is really open for you because very few people who are certified into this specific role, and very few companies can actually certify that the certification has a value, which is only Databricks is having that value. even though you're getting a certification from Academy of Data, we also actually make sure that you're certified and you're available in the market. And this can actually help you to get a decent job as well. And people who wanted to go for the advanced certification, they definitely can go for the Spark Developer Associate. We definitely can help you into these kind of certifications as well. Okay. So I hope you don't have any questions. Any questions you have, you can ask me right now on the certifications or anything we covered.
This is Sharon.
Hi, Chip. Yes. Hi.
As part of roles, do you also choose any real-time environment or real-time end-to-end project after learning?
Oh, definitely, yes. So, as part of this training, right, I wanted to go back again. So, we're talking about this tech stack, right? So, you'll be doing a project on Databricks, Apache Spark on Databricks. So, this is on the Azure cloud. So, you're using the Azure infrastructure and doing it. So, you are going to do one project on this Databricks and one project on this Azure Data Factory. Yes, two projects are going to be done as part of it. So, this Databricks is going to be implemented using Python and SQL. The coverage is 100% on whatever the technology stack what you use for, and there will be multiple use case and assignments as part of each of the training, and you're going to work upon it as well. Yes.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right, guys. So I wanted to bring to you one demo use case. So I just gave all the details to you, but let's actually come into the technical sphere of it. So I want to make it a very basic one because it's. I understand. I respect the heterogeneous batches that generally happens when we're going for the open market. When we're giving the training for the external, it's an external training. So I'll make sure that I'll simplify it, but I wanted to make sure that you understand, how it exactly works or what exactly is the environment which we work, at least to have some insights of it. So now everybody is familiar of bike sharing system, especially people in Bangalore. I'm pretty sure I have seen a lot of bike sharing apps. So when I was in California, I have seen this Bay Area has a bike sharing. So this is exactly in California especially. So what exactly happens is these are the one which are actually helping people if you wanted to commute to a shorter distances. Okay, and in general, right? So there is always a dedicated road space given for two wheelers in many of the countries. Maybe in India we may have only very few roads which are there, but in general out of India and all you generally have this available. And now people, this is a very good solution bike sharing systems where if you're talking about going in a busy traffic, right? I think bike sharing are having a bike is better, right? When I say bike, it's a two wheeler, okay, which is having an electric motor, which will be charged in one of the docking stations, and you just have to take that from the docking station, and you can ride happily. So this is what the bikes are all about, and you have to pay, for every maybe for every ride, right, per hourly basis, or maybe if you want to take a weekly basis. So this is more about you have an application which you'll have a mobile app, and you have a process of membership. You have to register yourself, and you have to return it to a different docking station. So especially in cities like Bangalore, I think we have seen some places where, especially in the metro stations, I can see this kind of bikes which are available, and you can actually take this from the docking station and you can actually go to a place, you can actually do your work and come back and put it in the same dock station. Or else there's also another things, right? So each of this can be, so you're going from one place to another place. Now you are think that you are in one specific tech park. You're going to a tech park. Now the tech park is already from a metro station. You went from a docking station. You took a one of the bike, and then you traveled for 2 kilometers, and you went to a tech park where your office is there, and then you put this vehicle in a docking station there. Now all this can be captured as part of a virtual sensor network. So that's what is happening. So which means the operator should have control of all these bikes, and he has to visualize where my bike is, right? So any important events in the city, right? So should be directed. Like for example, you may have seen that all these vehicles that are coming at 9 o'clock, right? 9 o'clock, right? All are going to a tech park. Now there are none of the vehicles are actually available at the metro because already most of the people have taken the bikes and there. Now, because you have virtual sensor network, so the bike operators know it and they transfer some of the bikes from one place to another place in order to actually mitigate the load. Okay. So these are the things which we generally see with the bike sharing systems in the world. And we have to talk about some data that I want to talk about. Now, especially in the countries like US and all, if you wanted to use a bike sharing, right? So the one thing which I always see when I'm in Bangalore, right, I'll always see if it's very cloudy and all, I definitely go on a car. But if it's not cloudy, I can think of a two-wheeler, right? That's very common here. Now, similarly, right, even in the other countries and all, it's the same situation. So they what they do is, they wanted to go for a hiking plan. I wanted to go for hiking and all in a country like US and all. So what happens is you have to go for long trekkings. Now, these kind of bikes are generally helpful to take you to the entry point of certain places and then dock there, and then you can go inside and you can come back. Now, if you have to plan certain things like that, right? So historical data of the climatic conditions can actually help you to decide whether I can take it or not. And at the same time, right, so even companies can also understand based on this historical information of the climatic condition, what are the analysis which I can do, and what exactly is this data can be actually utilized for planning for the future. So we'll actually understand it more. So the following is the data set which you can actually see it. Think of a table kind of format, and you can see seasons, months, temperature, humidity, and wind speed. For a bike, so this is all the data which is being captured. I said, we are talking about sensor data, right? So we are actually capturing all the information from all the bikes. At the same time, we're also actually monitoring the specific conditions of it so that we can actually take a call because in a month of 1 to 12. So when is my business going to be good? Okay. Bike sharing company should see, when can I actually think of, when can I have a good business? So when I can invest more, in doing the marketing, telling that, bikes are available. I mean, we have new set of bikes available for you. You can actually do it. The temperature is very clear and all, right? How can you do that, right? So this kind of insights you can get it from this data. But before that, let's see a small architectures of it. So yeah, want to talk about weather insights. So what we are planning here is to get the weather insights. So what is the biking conditions across each of the season? So you have different seasons in general, right? So we're talking about rainy season. We talk about maybe a cloudy time, and also autumn or something like you can talk about winters as well. You can think of clear skies, especially in the summer. So all these kind of condition. So what I wanted to find is I'll take one of the data set, and what I'm trying to find is what is the maximum temperature, the maximum humidity, and maximum wind speed for each of the season, and I wanted to validate. So that's what I want to do. Or I wanted to go for average biking conditions, and when the average temperature is actually being maintained, and what are the extreme bike conditions, so extreme temperatures are there. So these are the weather insights you can actually get from this data set, what you're actually talking here, right? Because we're talking about all the weather specific information here which we're capturing, and then we're talking about these weather insights. Okay, now let's talk about a design architecture. I'm taking a simple example of a design architecture which I'm actually utilizing. I took a file, from the so we do have a file which is actually we have taken it from this bike sharing app. So they have donated some files actually to the people who wanted to work on their data set. So one of the file I have taken, and then I'm first placing the data in a table. Okay, why I'm doing it is so because right now we are not. I did not train anyone on Python and Apache Spark, so this is not the right time. But I'm pretty sure that so people are familiar with SQL and all. For that reason, what I do is I'll try to read the data using Python Apache Spark, which is a single line. And then I'm going to put it in a table. And after that, I'll do some transformations. I'll show you how the transformation looks like, and we'll do it everything on SQL this time and loading the data. So and we'll also perform some analytics on it. So we don't need to do it for all the kind of extreme cases, but I'll go for one use case for the biking condition, and I'll also show how the environment looks like. Okay. So let me go back here. Let me actually make sure that I yeah. So we are here, this is a Databricks community edition. Maybe let me log out of it and, I show you how. So this is a edition of Databricks, which is a, simple edition, which is free of cost also. In fact, but in our training, I'm pretty sure we're going to utilize more from a full-time for a full license version anyway. But for now, let me actually utilize this because it's a very good simple use case which can do it. So you're logging into this, you need to register and you get it and all. We'll be covering those steps as part of the classes. Now you have something called as compute in the first place. if you actually can see here, right? So you have to create a cluster in the first place. So what is a cluster? This is the one which actually helps you to, we're talking about a Spark underscore cluster. So what exactly is it is a machine, okay, which actually runs your code for you. Okay, what is the code you're running? You're running the Apache Spark code in Python. So you can actually see here, it's already a machine. So we'll be definitely talking about virtual machines. And in this case, what happens is you are creating a virtual machine. So when we say virtual machine, a machine which is hosted in a data center and which is also coming with pre-installed software, which is Apache Spark software, which is what I'm creating. I will create a compute here. I'll talk about Spark architecture in general, as part of the full code in the future. But again, right now, let's simply understand that I want to run my code. To run my code, what I need, I definitely need to make sure that I do have a Spark cluster is always available for me at my disposal, and then I have to run this. Now, for that, right? So to actually create this kind of flow, if I see, I was talking about this architecture and I was talking about this data. So which means I do have a file. So I need to read from a file. So the file is already available, which is already uploaded anyway here. And now I need to just read it. And then first I have to create a table in the first place. And then I need to transform and I need to load. So I need to follow these steps, 1, 2, 3. So 3 steps and 4 steps. I have to follow 4 steps here. Extraction is the first step. Let's actually do check out now how to do the extraction. But before that, the cluster should be ready, and I can see the cluster is ready. And how do you do this, right? We have something called Databricks workspace here. Click on the workspace, and here you do have something called notebooks. So notebooks is a way of writing your Apache Spark code. So there is an open source framework called Jupyter in the past, and that is being picked up by Databricks actually to get into this model. So notebooks are the way of writing your code, and it's very interactive and it's very easy to use. And I'm going to show you how it is going to be. So let me actually get you the demo of bike riding. So this is the notebook. So I already have written all the code already available. So this is the notebook. So first thing is what are the cluster you are actually creating, right? You need to make sure that you have to create this, associate this here in the first place. So a notebook is already created here and it's a Python notebook. So which means you have to write your code in Python. And here we have some certain steps which are following here. One of the first step is, I have written a comment here. To write a comment in a notebook, you have something called cells here. So you want to write cells, you have to go for, plus code and all. So it will create cells. So you can individually run each of the cells. So, and, you can also run it fully. You can use run all so that it will run all, but I'm going for an individual one. So here it's already run, so that's why I'm not running it again. But you can see here the cluster is ready. Once this cluster is ready, you can actually read it automatically. You just click on this and then you can get this data. The first option, what I said was I wanted to read the data from a file and I need to create a table. So this is the first step, right? So Spark is so easy to do it. You have a data already there. There's a data called day.csv because we're talking about the temperatures and all, right? I told we're talking about this specific data, and data is in the file. Now the first thing what I'm doing is I'm reading the file, which is a CSV file, and I'm putting it in the main memory. So the memory, right? We're putting in the memory so that whenever your data is putting into the memory, it will be very faster, okay, to operate. So that's why we're using spark.read, and which creates something called a data frame. So a data frame is nothing but, is actually a data structure which helps us to put our data, in the memory and so that we can operate on it. Now we'll go into detail at the Spark in the later stage. I mean, it takes after 1 month of your understanding of Python, we do it. But for now, understand that this is a single line which actually helps you to read the data from a larger CSV file. So this is very important. So Apache Spark has given good APIs. So previously, before Apache Spark was there, I need to actually, or some data frames were there. It used to take some 10 to 20 lines, to write some code and validate it. Now it's not readed. It's a single line of code which is actually making it. So the coding is also interesting, very easy. And now after that, right? So you have to display the results. I was talking about per day values and all, right? So if you can actually see here, so specific day, on a specific day, what is the season and what is the year, and and then you can actually see the month, the holidays. Is it a holiday or not? And weekday, is it a weekday? So from 0 to 6, right? You're talking about 7 days, and then you talk about working day or not. I mean, if it is not a working day, generally, the number of people who use the bikes will increase for sure, right? And weather, right? So weather specific one. And then you can see the temperatures here, and humidity, average temperature, and wind speed, casual, registered, and the registered users, right? So who are the registered users, and casual users, right? So these are the numbers and which can actually help us. So a combination is the count total. Okay. So these are very, very helpful for you to understand, who is, how many users are using on a specific day with these specific temperatures and based on the conditions of whether it's a working day or not. So this is the data which we have brought in. So we have read the data from a file and you're displaying it. This is the first step, step two. So we have completed this step here. Coming back here, we completed this extraction process. And now we'll be going for one of the step what I said is load the data into table by share. So we can also do it as part of main memory operation, but I'm not doing it for now because people are familiar with SQL. So that's why what I have done is I put the data into a Spark SQL. So because SQL is always a valid one, and then I have created temporary table called bike share, and I'm actually so whatever is there, what we are reading it as part of a data frame will be added here. So this makes it easy for us to operate on this data set, okay, because we are all just using a SQL. Now after that, right, so we'll go for simple select query. I'm not doing anything complex here. Just to find out what is the season, what is the max temperature, okay, and maximum humidity and maximum wind speed from the bike share, and then based on the season and order by season. This is what I have done. And I'll not show the results right away, but what I'll do is I'll put it in a specific other table. Okay. So this is one thing. So you're doing a transformation based on a SQL query. Okay, you got it. So transforming your data by using some specific aggregate functions which are in SQL. So don't worry if you don't know aggregate function, I'll be helping you as part of your SQL at the basic level. So we are, because a demo, I'm actually getting you the query directly. We'll work on each of this area, what is the self statement and all in the later part, and going with each of them and how they execute as well. So, but right now, understand that we are getting the data out of it, which is the important data is, we're actually summarizing the data and getting the right information for us, which can actually help us. Now, what we're doing is now after this, right? So we are finding out, the maximum temperature, maximum humidity, and maximum wind speed. See, these are the three considerations which I wanted to see it for each of the season. So because I put it in the table, right? So as I said, right? So after transform, I put it in a table again. So that's what I have done it. And I can actually clearly see the visualization and I can actually clearly see the max underscore season. And you can see here, the thing in red, right, is the humidity. And you can actually see the maximum temperatures as well. And in all of them, right? So when was the higher temperature that you have seen here? For sure, you are seeing, in the fourth season. So there are four seasons. You can think, in a specific year. So fourth season is the one, where you can see maximum humidity. Now I can actually wanted to see the maximum wind speed because wind speed actually plays an important role to see, whether my vehicle can go faster or slower, or is it safe or not. I can always see that, the season three is the one which is actually taking the lower one, lower wind speed, which is the right time for me to take the bikes as well. Or I think most of the users will generally take the third, and I can actually promote at this point of time more bikes to be available. Marketing budget can be increased, and so that we can gain better market margins. So this is small visualization or a small dashboard which can actually help people to understand. So, or I'm being an executive of this company of bike sharing. I now understand. Okay, so when can I invest more in the marketing? So that I can maximize the potential of using 100% of my bikes has to be utilized. Now that's when you can actually make money here. Okay. All right. So this is all about a simple example. I was only going for the max specific one. If you wanted, you can also do it for mean and average. You just have to make sure that no, this max will make to mean and average. So that's why I'm not doing it again. But this is a simple thing, and which we ran, and we have seen simple visualization. And this is all about the specific demo which we're talking about. So before taking any questions, right? I just wanted to add to why should you train with us? Okay, this is going to be one of the specific question which people ask. So we're also an official training partners with Databricks University Alliance program. So people who are coming out of their data general university and all right. So we do have the specific materials sorted out as part of the Databricks University Alliances. And that's the best thing about us. And we have 45 successfully certified students. And believe us, this is not easy, because even a company like a company, a mid-sized company with 200 engineers, right? Hardly they have five people who got certified. But we are very proud to tell that we are able to help 45 people to get certified, which is one thing, which is the best of its kind. And our training is the most comprehensive data engineering course in the market that helps you to upskill in the era of chat GPT and LLM. So we're talking about large language models. So I'll talk about LLMs, in deeper in the later part. But right now, what I want to tell is, if you talk about any data engineering course and all, they're not complete at all. The biggest problems that are there in the market right now, what we're covering is, we are the only one who are giving a comprehensive data engineering course program, which covers from the base to the basics to the advanced. And I think we are the best people in that, and we feel that you're getting very good skills here, from the base to the advanced. Even if you're coming from non-IT, you're coming a fresher, you're already an experienced person with ETL tools and all, you're not sure about it. And even if you wanted to brainstorm yourself, you have experience at 10 years experience or 15 years experience, and you want to come, I think this is the best training that actually covers all these areas. And another thing is, we also have an integrated learning management system. So you will also always have to make, we have an app which helps you to connect with with the faculty always. So Saturday, Sundays, you always have the availability of us. And again, even Monday to Friday also. Wednesday, there's also generally having classes. But again, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, you also you're always connected with the trainers if you have any issues. And you also have a community of users who are also there to respond to and help. If you're doing it online, it's always going to help you. And we make sure that we provide you the updates, all the video recordings and all these things are here. If you want to take a look at it, you can definitely, maybe if you can just click on it, right? We can clearly see that, specifically for data engineering courses, we have done these things, because these are all 3 to 4 months of programs. So the programs are a little larger, because we're talking about the tech stack, right? So generally, you should always be connected with the training team. For that reason, it is there. And we generally provide a certificate from Academy of Data for all students who deliver the project. So we give you use cases to deliver, you do it, we're going to give it. And we guarantee the placement for the students who meet the following criteria for sure. 95% attendance, you successfully complete your live project, and you complete the Databricks certification of Data Engineer Associate, you are going to get, 95, I mean, you're going to get a guaranteed placement. So it's all about your skill. You develop your skill, we can help you in placing. So that's what we are telling. What you're coming to us is for a growth, right? The growth can be achieved by having a right skill, and we are going to help you in providing the right skill that is needed in the market. So, and again, I also wanted to talk about some logistics as well. So this course will be starting from tomorrow. So please feel free to talk to us if you have any questions. So please, I mean, if you're from Hyderabad, please reach out to, I mean, if you're coming from Talent Tech Solution Office and all, so please reach out to Sanjay sir. If it is coming from Bangalore, please reach out to Pruthvi or Kishan. Okay, as needed. All right, so they'll help on the admission process. And any questions or any technical questions you guys have, I can actually help you.
Yeah, hi Kamal.
Yeah,
So, are you going to cover any Synapse Analytics and CI/CD tools like Azure DevOps or any Git
yeah.
version control?
So I'll tell you about it. I'll actually tell you now. We are actually covering mostly on the data specific areas.
Mhm.
So if you are interested, I can definitely provide you some use case for this. On the DevOps on top of it, creating the CI/CD process using using this Apache Spark and all. But one thing what you need to understand is, so DevOps is a separate team generally are maintained. So when you talk about continuous integration, continuous deployment, right, it's a process which has to be monitored, and there are specific engineers who are meant for it. So the DevOps
Yeah,
courses are,
since
yeah,
since we are developing pipelines in Azure Data Factory, we have to maintain some repository like either Git or DevOps, right? So
yeah.
for CI/CD integration, so this is also part of our data engineering, I think so.
Yeah, so we can actually help you if you really wanted to get into it. So in general, right? So this course is mostly to make sure that you become a data engineer at a higher level. But if you really wanted to say that I also wanted to do little part of DevOps, okay? So because CI/CD comes into it, and you talk about putting, so even in Databricks, right, you are going to put your code as part of GitHub, right? You should also
Yeah.
have a CI/CD process in place
Mm.
and all.
Yes.
Or
Yes.
if
Yes.
you say I wanted to put in the Azure DevOps, and I want to run the code and all, we can actually provide you some use case for it to do that. Yeah, that's possible.
Uh, and this entire course design, so I couldn't able to see that Synapse Analytics. So
So Synapse
are
is
you
another
going to?
question. Okay. So the good thing is you talked about Synapse. So now I'll give you about some details. So we have chosen Databricks, okay, well, rather than
Yeah.
Synapse, in the training program. Why? Now that's a big question which will come. See, Databricks is the only unified analytics platform that is there on the three clouds. So learning this will actually help you to get a job and placed, in anywhere. Okay, that's the advantage of it.
Okay.
Now, why not Synapse again? The question will come in, why not Synapse? No, Synapse is a good one. So in fact, nobody is denying that. But see, both of them actually utilize Apache Spark. There's nothing different on it. Now we make sure that we actually help you on learning the Apache Sparks in general, okay, using the notebook concept, which also is the same thing, which you see in Synapse anyway. So which means there won't be much difference if you wanted to go only on if you wanted to go into Synapse. But our programs were mostly designed for Databricks, in the keeping the unified analytics as and data governance as part of it. So if you want Synapse also, we can give some details to how to get into the direction. If you have some use cases, people are already, people who are actually training you, they're already certified on the entire Azure specific stack also. You can also take help from that.
Yeah. Okay, Kumar. So I thought this is a complete Azure stack. So it is also
So
going to
see,
cover
full
this
Azure
Databricks
stack.
for CAM.
Yeah, I agree. So full Azure stack. So this is Azure stack only. No, in fact, if you see Azure Databricks, okay, if you talk about the numbers that you want to tell, right? So Microsoft actually makes more than $1 billion revenue only from Azure Databricks. So Databricks is part of Azure actually, in fact. So more number of users still use Databricks. But one thing is Azure Synapse is something which comes from the same company called Microsoft. Okay. Now Databricks is like separate entity which actually gives analytics on all the three platforms. That's the difference. But at the same time, more usage is on Azure Databricks rather than on Azure Synapse. But if you wanted to go into Azure Synapse cases, it's also possible. But we may not be actually going at a level of 2 months, but we can actually give you some help on how to traverse it. But the concept of PySpark and all are required in there also. That will be covered as part of it.
Yeah. When we are doing the capstone project, so what will be the target like? So is there any
Yeah, that's
cloud
a good one.
platform
So,
ETW?
so we'll talk about, if you're talking about the targets, right? So we talk about Lakehouse here, right? Now we
Yeah,
talk about
Lakehouse.
yeah, Lakehouse. So when you're talking about Databricks in specific and all, is where the targets are going to be there. See, the targets in general will be you have to define the data warehouse with how you define the data warehouse with the database, right? It is going to be the same, which you are creating in Databricks using Delta. Delta is the format which you use, and the storage is going to be ADLS. Okay, in on the ADLS storage, we are going to create tables using Databricks notebooks. So you'll be creating a catalog. You call it as Unity catalog. So we are also going to add you that catalog things.
Yeah,
And then in the
UTLs.
catalog, you'll be creating this schemas and then tables as part of. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So perfect. Anybody has any other questions? Please let me know. I'm very happy to help. Even if it's a basic question, please don't hesitate to ask.
Yeah, in certifications point of view, are going to provide any coupons or discounted,
Yeah, that's a
or
good
else we
question.
have to pay for that?
Yeah. So I'll go back to the certification. So let me go back a bit. So we talked about these four certifications that are there in the market. Now, for this one is free. Lakers Fundamentals was free, is free even now. Now, this is a simple one which can be certified now. It won't take much time. And Azure Fundamentals, the cost of them is around 3,000 rupees in general. This you can get a 50% discount on it. So previously, 6 months back, it was also free of cost they have given, but now Microsoft has stopped that, post-COVID, right? So there are things that has changed. So you get 50% off for it when you go for some events. We'll actually help you on that as well. And there's also Databricks Lakehouse. So this is also one which is the other certification. This cost around 16,000 rupees or 16 to 17,000 in INR cost. So generally you get a 50% discount because we're part of the Unist Alliance. We generally know the events. You can actually join an event and you can actually get a 50% coupon. So you get 50% coupon. So, and one more thing is Spark Developer also get a 50% coupon. The same coupon can be used for both of them, either one. But the suggestion is, even though we're covering all of them, so what I request is this is mandatory, this is also mandatory, and these three are mandatory. So the Spark one is something which is up to the person. So if we really wanted to get into it, but we actually make sure that you're trained on it for sure, because this we're doing it for the sake of getting you deployed into a consulting project very fast and making sure that you know the power of Apache Spark. We don't want you to become someone who only works on Databricks. You should be working on Azure Synapse also, or if something comes into Google Cloud on Dataproc, right? We should be a situation that no, I know Apache Spark really well, I can do it. So that's what we are making you into it, right? And only Databricks is the only company which is actually offering the Apache Spark certifications in the focused on it. That's why I'm adding it here. But to the market, if you want to get a job, so this is the one, and 50% coupons are going to be available for 1 and 3.
Thank you.
Welcome. All right. Any other questions, guys? Awesome. So thank you so much, team. So please reach out to us. If you're interested, please reach out. So what we'll do is we'll be sending the feedback form. Probably in the groups and all into individual. Please provide the feedback. Okay. So yeah, that's all we have. If you have any other questions, you can ask me, or you can reach out to your point of contact. And thank you so much. Bye bye.